Mayor. That's very kind of you, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm actually not going to do too much gloomy news. I think we hear enough of that. What I'd like to start with is just to tell you, it's history's hometown. I look back to March 100 years ago to see what the city was doing. The city hall was this building, which is now the police headquarters. And 100 years ago, the city council took action to support state legislation that would allow baseball to be legally played on Sunday. They approved a claim of $3.60 to pay for natural gas to heat the building the previous month. The council received a committee report that was really, really harsh on the local telephone company because they were proposing to raise the telephone's annual cost to $33 a year for a private line. And the city approved issuing a bond of $27,652.40 to pave Division Street. Not sure we get much paving today for that same amount of money. So we do many of the same things today that we did back 100 years ago, with greater cost. So how do we get the money to pay for that? We have a number of revenue sources, but principal among them are property tax, state aid, and sales tax. And what I'd like to do with part of this presentation is try to do a little bit of a consumer level discussion about the city's budget, the money that we receive, and how it gets spent. We as consumers are used to shopping for the best value when we make a purchase of services or goods, but it's something that we don't often think of when it comes to government. I think maybe our residents, and maybe to some extent we in government, we think we're a monopoly, so a resident thinks, well, I don't have any choice, and as government we think, well, they can't go anywhere else, so we'll do what we think's best. But I don't take that point of view. I view that what we do as a city, we're here to provide services, and in exchange for those services, residents and businesses pay tax dollars to us. So I think a lot of the problem originates because we're not very good at communicating. And part of what I want to do today is try to communicate maybe in a consumer format some of what goes on in the city with your tax dollars. So as I mentioned, there's a distribution of tax dollars. And when we look at the total property tax, which has been the focus of a lot of discussion because of the governor's tax freeze and now discussion, actually the tax cap and now a discussion of the tax freeze, this graphic actually shows how your property tax dollars get divided up. For every dollar in property tax, 31 cents comes to the city of Auburn, and that supports a variety of services that I'll talk about. 22 cents goes to Cuba County for regional services, and 46 cents goes to the Auburn School District for educational purposes. So property taxes is probably our primary source of revenue for the general fund. $100,000 home, which this is a typical home assessed at about that amount of money. Assessed at $100,000, you're going to pay $1,258 a year to the city for city taxes. You're going to pay $1,858 a year for the school district and $879 a year to the county. So what do you get for that portion of city taxes? If you break that $1,258 a year down, you pay about $104.83 a month. That covers a wide range of city services, and for many of us, that's probably in the range of our cable TV bill. But you get a lot from the city for that amount of money. Of that $104 a month, $23.92 provides police protection. This is 24-hour protection by highly trained professional police officers. You can pick up your phone day or night, and you can get services. You hear a noise in the backyard, you have somebody at your door who you're uncomfortable with, they're going to be there for you. And their mere presence, apart from responding to service, just their mere presence helps to create a quality of life for Auburn in terms of comfort as you tour the city, as you walk our sidewalks day and night. and it deters criminal activity. Equally important is our other public safety function, and that's our fire department. $23.47 of your $104 a month goes to provide 24-hour fire protection and EMS services. So if you have an accident in your home, you have a car wreck in the city of Auburn, a kitchen fire, injured loved one, child stuck in a tree, almost anything, you dial 911 and you'll get the fire department there, likely in the range of 3 or 4 minutes. They'll be at your door, ready to provide services, again with highly trained, very professional experts in their field. So together our public safety functions, which actually include things like code enforcement, traffic signals and so forth, they all combine to create quality of life, and they also help to keep our insurance premiums low, keep our community attractive for new business and existing business. A portion of the money, $8.51, that $104, goes to pay for debt associated with replacing and reconstructing infrastructure that includes parks, roads, buildings, streetlights, the purchase and lease payments on equipment, large pieces of equipment like fire engines, dump trucks, and graders. A lot of what Mayor Quill showed in slides, city projects, are supported by these debt service payments. Community services is another area that costs about $4.26 a month out of your $104. For that, you get zoning, planning, garbage collection, street cleaning, caretaking at the cemetery, and our urban forestry program, which is what takes care of our street trees. Government support is also a sizable part of that expenditure each month, $14.50. While you might question the value of this because it includes people like me, we're not very visible. These are largely people in City Hall, but they're all essential to helping to keep the public safety functions, the public works functions, the water, the sewer, the landfill, all those things, keep them operational. And this government support activity is, as I mentioned, $14.50 a month. Culture and recreation, another quality of life part, which I personally think Auburn has an edge over a lot of communities on. Spend $5.68 out of your $104. That covers the high-profile parks like Casey Park, Falcon Park, Hoops Park, as well as other parks in the city. It covers our swimming, baseball, ice hockey, summer programs, events like Founders Day and other special events in the city, and our senior programs. And finally, there's a general services category where part of your property tax dollars go to pay for services that the city itself uses from its special revenue sources like water, sewer, and landfill. And that's about $4.03. So those are some of the ways that your tax dollar, if you have a $100,000 home, what you're actually contributing to. Another way to look at city services is to look at what they cost per person or compared to some other benchmark. What's on the screen here is a medium-sized cup of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It looks really big there, but it's just and I want to relate this to water. For the price of that cup of coffee, you can get 748 gallons of water from the city of Auburn. That's enough to make 6,000 cups of coffee. It's delivered to your home. You don't have to go pick it up. It's there 24/7. You can use all that you want. And it meets all state and federal standards. We have a staff that's very dedicated to doing their best to make sure that that water is available for you whenever you need it. But compared to coffee, it's a great value. Another area is snow removal. Snow plowing, about 98 cents per person per month. This is a highly visible activity, especially in the winter, and hopefully it will discontinue soon. But it's necessary, it's essential, and on a monthly basis, it's less than a $1 menu item at McDonald's. Garbage collection. You see the big trucks going around, you hear them in the morning. Sometimes you complain about them blocking the road, but our guys are out there doing the best they can to help keep the neighborhoods clean. for the equivalent $2.49 per person. You get weekly garbage pickup directly from your curb, and you get a brush and yard waste pickup once a week. City parks, we have 19 parks and playgrounds. We divide that among the population of Auburn. $2.20 a month is what it costs to operate those. Again, they're a quality of life item, and just for comparison, it costs $2.21 to send a 1-ounce parcel package through the United States Postal Service. Another area that's related to our costs that I want to move to quickly and talk about is our technology efforts. I spoke to you last year about a push in this area to try to improve worker productivity, to reduce operating costs, and to improve services to residents. We're operating, fortunately, at a time where technology, in many respects, has been matured enough to where we can make these investments and be very comfortable of a return on investment, and that these things are going to actually work for us. So when used strategically, technology actually multiplies the ability of our existing staff, which is fairly lean, to do all of their work more efficiently and actually maybe improve services to the end user, all without adding people. One of these activities is what we call View Permit, which is a software package. It's a standard package used in a number of communities. This allows our code enforcement and building functions to be brought up to the 21st century. Code enforcement activities now are largely paper-driven, clipboards and paperwork out in the field. This system automates all of that. The good news, it should be operational for our internal use by the end of May. Ultimately, this system will be open to the public, so you can get a building permit or check on the status of a code complaint you may have filed 24/7 just by logging on to the internet. Another effort is to exploit our geographic information systems. We have hardware, we have licensed software, we haven't fully utilized. So we've engaged in an effort with all departments to look at what we can do with this system to better manage our city facilities and resources. One of our main pushes is really to get training going, as well as to populate some databases that will allow us to keep track of all of our water, sewer, road infrastructure, not only where it's at, but the condition that it's in and when it might be due for its next maintenance. Today, a lot of information that will go into this system is either in paper form, in file cabinets, might be in some of our senior employees' heads, or maybe it doesn't even exist at all. So this will allow us to collect all that data, and its uses really are limitless. Police department can use it to chart high crime areas. Fire department can use it to develop emergency response plans. Public Works can use it to optimize routing for snow plowing and garbage collection. Many other uses. Ultimately, this system too we want to make available to the public, kind of in a user form that might be more like Google Maps or MapQuest, for those of you who are familiar with those. The next initiative is the Novus e-agenda. Novus is a trade name for this software. Our previous city clerk, now Councilor McCormick, started this, and it's been carried on by our new city clerk. It is a system to help us automate our agenda preparation process, which is very time and labor intensive, or it was until we started this system. Every week, as you know, we have a city council meeting. We have to prepare documents. Those have to be made available to the public. This system is helping us to improve that a great deal, and more functionality will be rolled out soon on this again to give public access to a lot of information. And finally, the city website, which we believe is an important portal to access government services. It's undergoing a refreshing, and it'll be rolled out later this summer in a modified format. We're not spending a great deal of money on this, but some of the things that will be included are new features, including live streaming video of city council meetings. Now you can see them on tape, but unless your schedule allows you to come to a council meeting, you don't see it as it happens. So the streaming video will permit you to watch. If you can't come to the council meeting, if you're homebound, if you happen to vacation in your winters somewhere like Florida, anywhere you can get the internet, you can watch city council meetings. Part of that website revamp too is to look at some software that will allow us to survey citizens, get feedback on important policy issues and decisions that the city council may need to seek public input on. I'd like to kind of wrap up with a discussion about our employees. Cities are people-intensive operations. A lot of what we do, most of what we can't do without people. And unlike employees that might be in other types of government, like state and federal, our workers live and are your neighbors. They go to church with you, you see them in the grocery stores, and I believe you hold us to a higher standard because of that. You see, one of us unfortunately might not be in the right place at the right time, or there's a perception we're goofing up. I'm going to get a phone call. That doesn't happen very often when you're in a different kind of government. So we're close to home. I asked our employees shortly after I started what were their core values. We surveyed all the employees of the city, and what they came up with was integrity, honesty, teamwork, and quality. This was without any prompting from me. These were the highest ranking values that were given by our employees. And I can tell you, day in and day out, you'll see these values by most of our employees, and we try to reinforce them as we bring on new employees. In fact, some of my new job descriptions include these as core elements for our leadership team. I'd like to introduce a couple people who are new to our executive team. First of all, Chuck Mason. Chuck, could you stand? Chuck's our new city clerk. And Chuck has stepped in and immediately taken charge of some of these initiatives to help make government more transparent, including the website activity, the live streaming video, and other things. The other person I'd like to introduce after a long search and a lot of time with a vacancy in the finance department is our new city comptroller and finance director, Laura Wills. Laura's only been here about 7 weeks, but she's already started ensuring some consistent procurement processes, simplifying our budget, doing a number of analyses that we couldn't do without her. Every year at this function, I get to introduce one of our employees who's a leading example of our values and an exceptional performer in all respects. This year, I'd like to introduce Christina Selby. Surprised, Christina? This is a well-kept secret. Christina's our director, and many of you know her, I'm sure. She's our director of capital projects and grants. Her success in winning grants has caused the city to receive about $7.4 million in state and federal grants in the last couple of years. Over her career at the city since 2008, about $23.5 million. So that money goes to build some of these projects to offset the need to increase property taxes and other obligations. And Christina's really a staunch advocate for the city. She's well-spoken, she's a good analyst, she's willing to step up and has on numerous occasions to do special projects to help out with departments that might be shorthanded and to coordinate efforts to ensure that our capital program is well-defined and well thought out. Not only that, but she volunteers in the community, has sat on several boards, commissions, and she manages to do this while balancing her personal life as a wife and mother of 2 small daughters. So, Christine, can you stand up? Thank you to Christina and all our city employees. Special note of thanks to Jamie Haynes and Renee Jensen for putting together our PowerPoint. You can contact us at any of these addresses on the screen. Thank you.